What's up YouTube? It's your boy Nino. I'm back again with another power video. Today I'm going to talk about how Ghost saw his death coming, Ghost's plan, and why a section of the audience believe Ghost is dead and the other section of the audience always believe Ghost is not dead. I always say that the secret to real power is to never betray your intentions. First of all, I would like you to look at these two images. One was episode 13 and the other was episode 15 of Power. The episode 13 was Tommy's point of view. Now, if you look at where Tommy came to meet Ghost, there was no blood on the floor up to the point where the ambulance siren was coming closer and Tommy had to leave. Even as at that time, there was still no blood stain on the floor. Ghost was not in any pool of blood. But when you look at this from Tasha and Tariq's point of view, look at Tommy closely. As at the time, he even wanted to shoot Tariq and Ghost was stopping him. Ghost was already in a pool of blood. Now, mind you, this is Tariq's point of view. These two images are not production errors or anything. They saw it, they knew what they did, and they know there's a reason why they made these two images differently. If you want to have a real power, you don't have to betray your intention. You have to make your enemies feel like they have won the battle. This should tell you that Tariq's point of view, he's seeing what he expects to see, his father in a pool of blood. And Tommy's point of view, there was no blood around Ghost even as at the time the ambulance were coming. Now, the reason why Ghost was blocking Tommy from shooting Tariq was that never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. If Tommy had shot Tariq, it would have been a different case. But Ghost wants Tariq to see what he wants to see, so he stops Tommy from shooting him. Not because he wouldn't have allowed him to shoot him, but because he doesn't want to interrupt his enemy when he's making a mistake. Now, how did Ghost saw his death coming? We all remembered when Tariq left the penthouse unlocked down for Tommy to kill Proctor. After Ghost found out that Tariq left the door open for Tommy, he held an empty gun on him on his bed. Told him about why Kanan shot his son because he was disloyal to him. This is what Ghost said, and I quote, "That moment you left Tommy into the penthouse to kill me, you were no longer my son. Now you are my enemy." After a back and forth between Ghost and Tariq at that scene, Ghost said again to Tariq, "Keep thinking you are smarter than me. Don't ever try that mistake again, son." Now, this statement alone is to tell you that Ghost has lived a certain life before that. If he sees someone living that kind of life, he knows exactly whatever is running through the person's mind. Now, the second scenario was that Tariq brought back his credit card to Ghost at Truth after he put his hand on Tasha. Tariq was angry at Ghost and he was issuing threats to his father. Now, Ghost got up and listened to what he said. "What's your tone with me?" And Tariq said, "Put your hand on Ma one more time and I swear to God, I will murder you myself. I promise you that." Then Tariq was walking away and Ghost calmly said, "You can't talk to your father that way." Now listen to what Tariq said. He said, "Don't get it twisted. You might have given me life, but you were never my fucking father." Then he walked away from Ghost. That was the last scene of that episode and you saw the reaction in Ghost's face and he punched the wall and that was the end of that episode. Ghost had a lot of enemies and he got to a point where he realized everybody wants to come after him. Knowing Ghost as a smart guy and a guy who grew up the tough way, in the world of Power, stir water to catch fish, one of the 48 laws of power, was what Ghost used in Power Season 6 to have control over his enemies. Now, anger and emotions are counterproductive. You must always stay calm and objective, but if you can make your enemies angry while staying calm yourself, you can gain advantage over them. Make them lose control of their emotions, then you can easily take advantage of them because they are not in control of how they feel. This is how Ghost handled all his enemies, including Tariq. That is why we realize that Ghost moved to every possible person who can come and take him out, provoke the person. He started with Tate, he provoked Dre, he provoked Tommy, he provoked Tariq, he even provoked Tasha. So knowing his enemies, he has decided to stir water to catch that one fish that will come after him. This is the technique Ghost used on his enemy and it worked for him. Another scene where Ghost saw all this coming was the scene where Tariq went to Ghost in his hotel to talk about turning himself in. Tariq first demanded that Ghost confess about everything he has done, starting from Breeze, before he also confess killing Rere. Whilst Ghost was talking to Tariq, Tariq couldn't watch his father's face. Hence, Ghost forcing Tariq to look at him by grabbing him and saying, "Look into my face." Now, why would he even say Tariq should look into his face? If you are talking to someone and the person decides not to look into your face, it means the person is thinking otherwise, or the person is planning something he wants to do to you. And we all know Ghost has been on the street from his childhood enough to know very well that a child who is behaving this way is likely to do this and that. And mind you, Ghost himself told Tariq he was at Tariq's age when he killed Breeze. So every mixed feeling Ghost was feeling at the moment he killed Breeze, if he see Tariq going through that, he doesn't need Tariq to confirm to him or say it to his face before he knows that this is the line Tariq is towing. So I believe that Ghost saw all this coming and he started building up his plan. I believe the writers of Power have left a lot of secret informations in most of the episodes we have seen. Now let's move attention to where Ramona broke into Ghost's hallucination between him and Kanan. They both agreed to meet at the hotel and talk in an hour. Now if you pay attention to this scene, after Ghost kissed Ramona, she turned back the way she came from. Under normal circumstances, Ghost would have at least spent 5 seconds to admire her back while she walked away. But Ghost turned immediately to look at his left and saw something strange. That was probably the place where Tariq hid his gun. That was where Ghost was standing when Ramona came. That moment, the writer decided to black out, and the next opening scene was where Sax was drunk walking towards Truth. Mind you, Tommy and Ghost used to hide guns in secret places around town just in case of emergency. So it will not be out of place for Ghost to suspect someone hiding gun at Truth. At this point, we never saw any point of view of Ghost of what he has done before turning off the lights until he went to stand at where he was standing in expectant of someone coming in. Because if you look at how he was even turning off the light, it was like as if it was a goodbye, as if he knew that this was the last time he's entering his office. Someone could argue that he was going to be a lieutenant government the following morning. He was going to announce a lieutenant government, so he was going to do a lot of things and he was not going to have time to be coming to his office. But no, that was his office. Ghost can come there at any time, and I don't think Ghost would have abandoned Truth simply because of his government position. And also, when Tommy told Tariq to help him stop Dre from killing Ghost and he refused, I don't believe Tommy didn't send text message to Ghost before following up to Truth. So I believe, in my opinion, Ghost had a tip of Dre coming to Truth. So he prepared himself and was waiting patiently for the person, because at the scene, Tasha described Ghost's routine to Tariq and said he would turn off the lights and go downstairs and then take the elevator down to his car, and she will be waiting for him in his car. This alone should tell you that Ghost has a routine when he's leaving Truth. But that particular day, after turning off the light, he went up there, waited patiently in expectant of someone. That is why I believe Ghost had a tip from Tommy that Dre was coming to Truth to kill him. That is also why when Tommy got to Truth and found Ghost on the floor, he said something. He said, "I tried to be here on time." Why is he telling Ghost he tried to be here on time? Fine, someone can argue that because he knew what was going to happen, he was rushing there, so he is pre-informing Ghost that he tried to be here on time. But saying "I tried to be here on time" also means that Tommy knew something to Ghost. It will mean that he knew this was going to happen. That is why he said he tried to be here on time. But I'm very sure that Tommy tipped Ghost with a text message that someone is coming to kill you, leave Truth. Or probably he had made the plans he wanted to make with Tariq with Ghost already. But then the reason why Tommy couldn't reach Truth early was because of Vincent double crossing him, and he had to take care of Vincent and his crew. That is how come Tommy got to truth late. So this statement also explains the fact that there was some kind of communication between Tommy and Ghost before Ghost was shot. Someone will say, come on, Ghost has been shot, we saw Ghost dying, and Ghost is dead. Mind you, 50 Cent was shot 9 times and he still survived. So Ghost surviving 1 bullet will not be something that is out of place. Now this is Ghost's plan. We all know Ghost wanted a good life for Tariq, a life that he himself never had for Tariq, but a lot of issues, a lot of things are crisscrossing Ghost's plan for Tariq. So Ghost decided to be Ghost. The only way Tariq can make a good life out of himself is when his father is not around, because this was the impression Tariq created in front of his father. So Ghost decided to stay away, but stay away in a very tough way where Tariq will have no option than to become the man he wants him to be. So this is what Ghost did. Ghost faked his death. We all remember the time Ghost and Tommy were at each other, wanted to kill each other. Ghost shot Tommy's car thinking he had Tommy. Since that car was damaged, Tommy never used that car any longer. They came to tow the car away and no one knows where that car went. Now, when Ghost was leaving his will, this was what he left for everybody. Now, he knows very well that if Tasha had access to his money, she was not going to raise Tariq the best way he wanted Tariq to be raised. So he eliminated Tasha from his will totally without giving her a dime. Before Ghost was shot, he went to empty his account that he knows very well that Tasha could have access to, and he used that money to start the QCP project, of which Tasha got angry over. But little did she know that he was trying to clear every possible way of her having access to huge fund in order not to influence Tariq's education. So what did he do? He put everything in Tariq's name, knowing very well that if Tariq wants any of his inheritance, then he has to do one thing to get it, which means what? He has to graduate. Now, this is where my suspicion is. Tommy's car that was damaged long ago and Tommy even forgot about it was what Ghost left in his will for him, including a document which we never seen and the location to the car where Tommy went to take the car and left for LA. Now, that car originally belongs to Tommy, so there is no reason why Ghost will make it look like that is his inheritance. That isn't Tommy's inheritance. That was Tommy's property anyways. It was just that Ghost shot it multiple times and the car got damaged. So Ghost went to repair the car and kept it for safekeeping. What was the reason why Ghost kept this car until this time? And why would Ghost think that he will die first before Tommy? Because the car is for Tommy anyway. So let's assume that Tommy had died before Ghost. What happens to the car? He repaired the car and kept it for nothing. He could have just given Tommy's car back to him. But because Ghost had a reason, Ghost had a plan, he decided to keep that car and put the key in his will and a document attached so that Tommy will go for that car and move away from town, whereby Tariq will not have access to Tommy. So Ghost's plan was to move everybody away from Tariq so that Tariq can focus on his education. But little did he know that things were going to turn upside down and Tariq was even going to go deeper in the drug business than he even anticipated. So guys, I've spoken about Ghost's plan and how Ghost saw his death coming. Now the video is a bit too long, so I'm going to drop a part 2 where I'm going to talk about the reason why section of the audience believe Ghost is dead and section of them don't believe Ghost is dead, and why the writer decided to keep us in this floating pace. If this video makes sense to you, hit the like button, just leave your comments, let's keep the discussion going, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.